Chào mừng các bạn đã quay trở lại với video của mình. Hôm nay chúng ta sẽ đi sâu vào một kỹ thuật cơ bản nhưng tạo ra sự khác biệt rất lớn cho video của bạn. Đó chính là hiệu ứng Text Review. Text Review không chỉ là việc làm cho chữ xuất hiện. Đây là kỹ thuật hoạt hình được thiết kế để kiểm soát chính xác, cách văn bản tiết lộ một cách nghệ thuật và có chủ ý, khác biệt hoàn toàn với việc chỉ tăng dần độ mờ mock-up. Hiệu ứng Review có 3 vai trò chiến lược. Thứ nhất, nó kiểm soát sự tập trung và nhịp độ. Nó dẫn dắt ánh mắt và hệ thống hóa thông tin. Thứ hai, một hiệu ứng mượt mà thu hút sự chú ý tức thời, khuyến khích người xem ở lại. Và thứ ba, nó tạo ra phong cách điện ảnh đặc trưng cho thương hiệu hoặc nội dung của bạn. Hiệu ứng Review được phân loại dựa trên cơ chế kỹ thuật mà chúng sử dụng. Chúng ta có 4 cơ chế chính: Track Matte, Range Selector, Procedural Noise và Review bằng đường viền. Chúng ta sẽ đi vào tìm hiểu từng cơ chế một để hiểu rõ hơn nhé. Đầu tiên là Track Matte. Track Matte chính là sự tiết lộ bằng một hình dạng rõ, sử dụng một lớp phủ hình học làm vùng hiển thị. Để có thể hình dung rõ hơn thì chúng ta cùng xem đoạn hướng dẫn sau đây.
Today we are talking about using the Track Matte tool in Adobe After Effects. A track matte in After Effects is a variation of a mask that will allow you to use one layer to determine the boundary of the layer below it. To demonstrate this effect, we can create a new composition and just create a title here. It can be anything. This will be our bottom layer. To define its boundaries, we have to create another layer above it. So I'm going to use a simple rectangle, make sure you have nothing selected, and then draw it. The object can only reference the layer directly above it as the track matte. So open the track matte drop-down menu. If you don't see it, press F4 on the keyboard. Now select Alpha Matte Shape 1. The Alpha Matte means that the boundaries are defined by the empty spaces on the layer, so where the rectangle ends, the text won't be visible. Now that they've linked, we can move the text. We can see that it disappears outside the rectangle. We can do a lot with this, like animating the text in, and we can make it look like the text is appearing here. Another example uses the text layer itself as a matte. So we'll find the footage we want to crop around and make that the bottom layer. I'm going to use this cool fire effect, then type our text in the layer above it. I'm using a nice thick typeface so that we'll actually be able to see the fire when it's cropped out the shape of the letters. And then we'll use the same method to create the track matte, selecting the text as the matte layer. Then we watch that through, we see it makes this cool fire text effect. There are plenty more cool things that you can create with the Track Matte tool, but I hope this gives you a good jumping off point.
Tiếp theo, chúng ta sẽ đi vào tìm hiểu về Range Selector. Đó chính là việc kiểm soát từng ký tự, hoàn hảo nhất nếu ta muốn hiệu ứng giống như đánh máy vậy. Chúng ta sẽ xem đoạn hướng dẫn ngắn này để hiểu rõ hơn nhé.
Hey folks, I've been asked to explain what the offset control does within the text range selector. So I've got some text here, okay, and I'm going to open up the text menu here. Choose animate. I've done a previous video explaining in detail what the range selector does, but basically it will animate things within the range selected. So let's move the position of the text. I'll move this up, and then I'll use the range selector, and in this case I'll come in a little bit at the start. Okay, so the first few letters are not inside the range and therefore not affected by the position change, and the end. Okay, so only the text between these two red lines has a change of position. You can see I can use that to animate this in and out. So what I want is just some text kind of in the middle, like so. This kind of thing. So we get a little kind of, let's do something like that. Okay. So I've got, and what I want to do is animate a little kind of wave across the text. So this is what the offset does. Here and here is the range. The offset, if I move it to the left, okay, the range shifts to the left, and if I move it to the right, the range, it stays the same size range, okay, until it gets to the end. Alright, so I can add a keyframe here, and I can come forward and I can animate this along, and my text will kind of jump up and jump down. There you go. So a very simple application of the offset button. But that's all it's doing. It's moving it. If you go minus, negative, you go back. Okay, it changes the range to the left. If you go right, it shifts the range to the right. Okay, the smaller the range, let's just do a couple of letters like so. Okay, you'll see how it just moves at that range. Just those 3 letters popping up there. Okay, so there you go. And that very simple explanation of the range selector offset. Thanks for watching.
Cơ chế tiếp theo cũng rất là thú vị. Procedural noise là kỹ thuật tạo sự mượt mà, hữu cơ, thường dùng trong After Effects. Chúng ta cùng xem đoạn hướng dẫn để có thể thực hiện nhé. Cơ chế cuối cùng nhưng cũng không kém phần quan trọng, đó chính là Trim Paths, dùng để hiện chữ theo thời gian từ đường viền.
Alright, welcome back. So first of all, मैं जल्दी से एक टेक्स्ट टाइप कर रहा हूँ. Of course, GFX Mentor ही टाइप करूँगा और इसको ले आए ज़रा सेंटर में यहाँ पे. ठीक है. Let's take a background color. Background color के लिए मैं usually solid ही recommend करूँगा आप लोगों को. Let's take some different color. इस बार लाल ले लेते हैं या कुछ और. Anyways, जो भी कलर ले लो कोई मसला नहीं. ठीक है, इसको रखें पीछे. बैकग्राउंड में टेक्स्ट के ऊपर आपने लेयर पर राइट क्लिक करना है. बाय द वे, अगर आप लोग ये सोच रहे हैं कि मैंने यहाँ पे स्मॉल लेटर टाइप किए हैं और यहाँ कैपिटल आ रहे हैं, तो उसका रीज़न ये है कि कैरेक्टर पैनल में आपके पास यहाँ पर एक बटन दिया हुआ है ऑल कैप्स का. मैंने ये ऑन किया हुआ है, तो आप कैपिटल कर सकते हैं. ये बहरहाल ये चीज़ आपके पास इलस्ट्रेटर, फोटोशॉप हर जगह मौजूद होती है. ठीक है. ऑलराइट, इस पर मैंने सिंपली राइट क्लिक किया और यहाँ पर जाएंगे आप क्रिएट में एंड क्रिएट शेप्स फ्रॉम टेक्स्ट. इस पर क्लिक कर दें. ना याद रखिएगा कि वंस आपने टेक्स्ट टाइप कर दिया और आपने अगर इसको शेप्स में कन्वर्ट कर दिया तो आप टेक्स्ट को एडिट नहीं कर सकते, तो पहले देख लीजिएगा कि स्पेलिंग वगैरह में कोई मसला तो नहीं है, एंड देन शेप्स में आप क्रिएट कर दें। जैसे आप ये क्लिक करेंगे आपके पास एक और लेयर आ जाएगी, GFX में ड्रॉ आउटलाइंस, एंड ये है टेक्स्ट वाली लेयर, ये आपके पास मौजूद है ज़रूर, ठीक है। आप चाहें तो उसको डिलीट कर दें, मैं इसको डिलीट कर रहा हूँ बिकॉज हमें उसकी ज़रूरत नहीं है, ठीक। नाउ दूसरी चीज़, अगर आप यहाँ पर आके देखें कंटेंट के अंदर तो आपके पास एक एक अल्फ़ाबेट इंडिविजुअली रखा हुआ है, ठीक है। ऑलराइट, सो हमें ये करना है कि हमारा टेक्स्ट सिर्फ आउटलाइन में चाहिए, हमें फिल नहीं चाहिए, तो सिंपली यहाँ पर आकर के मैं फिल नन कर रहा हूँ और स्ट्रोक ऐड कर रहे हैं हम सॉलिड, एंड यस इसको वाइट ही रहने दें। स्ट्रोक की वेट यानी विड्थ जो है मैं तकरीबन 4 पिक्सल्स कर रहा हूँ, ठीक है। सो अगर मैं इसको डी सेलेक्ट करूँ तो आपको दिख रहा है कि कुछ ये चीज़ आई है। आप चाहें तो और थिक करना चाहें और थिक कर लें, इट इज़ योर पर्सनल चॉइस। लेट्स गो फॉर 6, यस आई थिंक दिस इज़ फाइन। ओके, अब इसके बाद मैं इस पर ट्रिम पाथ लगाना चाह रहा हूँ। नाउ कंटेंट के आगे ही आपके पास दिया हुआ है ऐड एंड ट्रिम पाथ, अगर आप जैसे ही ऐड करेंगे तो ये इन तमाम अल्फ़ाबेट्स के नीचे ट्रिम पाथ लेकर आके रख देगा, ठीक है जी। सो यहाँ पर आने के बाद आपने सिंपली इस ट्रिम पाथ को खोलना है और यहाँ से आप एंड को एनिमेट कर लें। सो स्टार्टिंग में मैं चाह रहा हूँ 0 हो और तकरीबन 2 सेकंड में ये हो जाए 100, ठीक है। अब ज़रा इसको चला के देखें तो ये कुछ इस तरह से बनकर आ रहा है। ना मैं ये चाह रहा हूँ कि ये इंडिविजुअली चल कर आए। इस वक्त देखें साइमल्टेनियसली हो रहा है, मतलब एक साथ सारे कैरेक्टर्स पे आ रहा है। आप चाह रहे हैं कि तरतीब में है तो आप ये भी कर सकते हो कि यहाँ से इंडिविजुअली पे क्लिक कर दो, एंड अब ज़रा चला के देखो बहुत ज़्यादा फास्ट है। ऑफ कोर्स इसको हमें थोड़ा सा गैप बढ़ाना होगा, कितनी देर में आप चाह रहे हैं कि ये लिखा हुआ है, ये आप यूँ कर सकते हैं। सो यस दिस इज समथिंग वेरी अमेजिंग, मज़ेदार सा है, राइट। एनीवेज एक और चीज़ आप कर सकते हैं कि आप इसको एनिमेट ही ना करो और आप इसकी पाथ, तो एक और चीज़ कि मैं साइमल्टेनियस कर रहा हूँ उसको, इसकी पाथ मैं कर रहा हूँ तकरीबन 70%, मतलब जो एंड है, ठीक है। और अब अगर आप चला के देखें तो कुछ भी एनिमेट नहीं हो रहा होगा, बट ये सब कटे कटे से आ रहे हैं। एनीवेज आप एनिमेट करेंगे ऑफसेट, एंड ऑफसेट को एनिमेट करने में ये होगा कि ये पाथ इसके ऊपर चलती हुई नज़र आएगी। अब ये कितना एनिमेट करना है आप यहाँ से समझ लें, एक राउंड में दे रहा हूँ, सॉरी यहाँ पे 1 राउंड, दैट्स इट। चला के देखें तो कुछ इस तरह की चीज़ आपके सामने बनी हुई आ रही होगी।
Như vậy, chúng ta đã nắm được căn bản về các cơ chế thường được sử dụng để tạo nên hiệu ứng text review. Nhưng để tạo nên một hiệu ứng text review đẹp thì chúng ta có thể kết hợp chúng cùng những hiệu ứng khác chẳng hạn. Và để hình dung rõ hơn, chúng ta hãy cùng xem đoạn hướng dẫn sau đây về cách mà ta có thể tạo nên hiệu ứng text review một cách chuyên nghiệp.
In this tutorial, I'll show you how to create this amazing adjustable text reveal animation in After Effects, so let's get to it. First, I'll create a new composition. It will be in 1920 by 1080, 30 frames per second, 5 seconds for the duration. Click OK. Then select the type tool and type something. I'll do motion design in 2 separate words. For the font, I'm using Montserrat Black with the size of 150 pixels in all caps. After you type the first word, hold the Control key and double click on the pan behind tool to center the anchor point, then open the Align tab and align the text to the center of the composition. Now after creating the first word, let's do the second one. Select the selection tool, then highlight the text down here, go up to edit, duplicate or press Ctrl D as a shortcut, then bring the duplicated text layer down, double click on it and type the second word, design, then click away, and here make sure that the texts are overlapping like this in the middle. So here my paragraph is set to center paragraph, and make sure you do that as well. Now after creating the text, let's create the line that will be going across, revealing the text. For that, we're going to select the pen tool. Make sure you're not highlighting any text layers. Let's zoom in. And here for the fill, I'm going to set it to none. And then click on the word stroke, set it to a solid color. I'm going for white color and the stroke width 20 pixels. Now let's create a line that will be slightly taller than the text. So maybe one point here and another one over here. Hold shift so the line is straight. Now we need to create the mask that will follow this line across, revealing the text. And there are multiple ways you can do that, but I found this way to be the best in terms of conveniently readjusting the position of the mask based on the changes that you do to the text. And I'll show you what I mean by this later in the video. So let's create the mask now. For that, we're going to select the rectangle tool. Make sure you're not selecting any layers, so click away if you do. Then we're going to double click on the rectangle tool. That'll create a big rectangle that has the size of the composition. But we need to bring back fill for this rectangle. For that, we're going to select the fill, set it to a solid color. And for the color, I'm going for a gray to see the difference between the mask and the line. And click on the word stroke, set it to none, no stroke for this. Then select the pan behind tool. Select the shape layer 2 so you can see the anchor point in the center. And drag this anchor point to the right, hold Control so it snaps to this right side. Then switch back to the selection tool and move the shape layer to the left and align it with the tiny line like this. Now let's rename this to mask and the line to line, and also bring the line above the mask like that. And now we need to bring up properties of both mask and the line. So select both layers, press P to bring up position. And we're going to hold the Alt key and click on the position stopwatch for the mask. That will enable us to add expressions, but the only thing we need here is this pick whip. So drag it, click and drag it on top of the line's position and let go. Then simply click away and the expression is ready. So what we've done here, we've linked the position property of the mask to the position property of the line. So now if we move the line, the mask will follow it. So here we can hide the mask, the visibility of it, because we do not need to see it. Then open Effects and Presets window and search for Set Matte Effect. Add it to the first text. Let's hide the second text for now. Then head over to the Effect Controls panel. Let's open the drop down for the Take Matte from Layer and select Mask. And as we do that, we can no longer see the text, but if we select our line and move it across, you can see that the text is getting revealed. Now, let's select the motion text. Then in Effect Control, select the Set Matte Effect and press Ctrl C to copy it. Select the second word and press Ctrl V to paste it in here, and also check Invert Matte. Now let's go ahead and animate the line across, and then we can bring back the second text as well. Now let's open the settings of the line, then click on the Add button, select Trim Paths, expand Trim Paths, move the time indicator to the start of the timeline, set start to 50% and 50% and create keyframes for both. Let's move half a second forward, 15 frames for me. Then increase the start to 100 and end to 0. Also at this point, let's create a keyframe for position. So open Transform Settings, create keyframe for position, move 1 second forward from here. And then we're going to drag this line across to the other side like this. Now let's move 1 second forward and select the first position keyframe, Ctrl C, Ctrl V to paste it in here so the line goes back. And also let's copy the Trim Paths keyframes, select them, Ctrl C, Ctrl V, then right click on any of these, Keyframe Assistant, Time Reverse Keyframes. Now let's press U to see just the keyframes and give ourselves some space. And we're going to come to this middle keyframe for the position. Let's bring back the second text visibility, and we're going to drag the start of the second text layer to this point so it's not visible until this moment. And after you do that, we can just preview this, and here we have the line animating from nothing. Then it goes to the right, revealing the first word. Then it comes back. As it comes back, it hides the first word, then it reveals the second one, and then it goes out like that. Now let's adjust the velocity, make everything smoother. For that, let's drag and select the Trim Paths keyframes. So right click any of them, Keyframe Assistant Easy, so press F9 as a shortcut, and open a graph editor. Right click, make sure Edit Speed Graph is selected. Now I'm going to select the second point. You'll see these yellow handles, and drag this handle all the way to the left. And then select the third point and drag this handle all the way to the right. And that's how the graph should look, even from both sides. Now let's select position. So click on it and click on it again. So these ones are highlighted. Then press F9 to easy ease the keyframes. Click away, then select the second point in the middle and drag these handles out like that. So again, this is how the graph should look, even from both sides. Now if we exit the graph editor and preview this, the whole animation will be a lot smoother, but we can make it even better by adding motion blur. So if you don't see this column, click Toggle Switches on Modes until you do, and enable motion blur for the line and for the mask. And now if we preview, everything should be even smoother. And now let me show you what I meant by this method to be the best in terms of conveniently readjusting the position of the mask based on the changes that you do to the text. So here in this example, I'm using motion design, 2 words that are relatively short and almost even in size, so we don't have any problems with this animation. So let's say if I were to use a different word such as graphics. So graphics is slightly longer compared to design. So let me change it, design to graphics. And if we preview, we will see that the second word is not fully animated. It is getting cut off here. And in this case, we would need to move the line further as well as the mask. But since we've linked the position of the mask to the position of the line, all we have to do here is change 2 keyframe values for the line, and that is it. So if we come to the middle keyframe for the position of the line, select the line and move it across like further so nothing is showing through. Then go to the next position keyframe and again move it a bit further so we can see the entire word. Now we can go ahead and do the preview and we have a fully working text reveal animation with a new combination of words. And if you look closely here, you can see some bit showing through. That is because of the motion blur caused by the line. And we can simply come to 3 seconds and bring the end point of the line to this point so that it is not visible after it animates out. And here, let's go ahead and do the full preview. And that is how you create an amazing adjustable text reveal animation in After Effects. I hope you enjoyed and learned something new. Thank you guys.
Như vậy, chúng ta đã cùng nhau tìm hiểu về hiệu ứng text review và cách để có thể thực hiện nó một cách tối ưu rồi. Các bạn hãy thử tạo lại và thử nghiệm để có thể cho ra sản phẩm phù hợp với nhu cầu của mình nhé. Cảm ơn các bạn đã xem video này và hẹn gặp lại trong những video sau.